whenever you have a situation in which enormous time pressures are acting out on a research community, you have to, and by this I really mean the institution, as well as investigators, directors of labs and research centers, need to be worried about the effects of that pressure on researchers. And firstly, the possibility that people will make more mistakes. Mistakes will creep into the design of research studies, the implementation of those studies, the collection of data, data quality steps, the interpretation and analysis of the data, and the writing up of data. These are not necessarily driven by any kind of malice or ill intent or desire to deceive people, but simply unintentional mistakes or errors that creep into any kind of activity when we do things too fast, too rapidly, without adequate forethought as to the steps that we need to take to ensure that we do something properly and that the end product is really of a high quality. So we have already had some examples of that in the data that has been disseminated around the coronavirus, COVID-19. We have studies of questionable quality, studies that have had glaring errors, both in the design of those studies as well as how they were implemented. We have had cases of studies that have been retracted. Most famously, in the last couple of weeks, the studies involving hydroxychloroquine. These are the group of malaria drugs that were initially earmarked as being potentially efficacious in the treatment of COVID-19. And then there was some question as to whether that was really true. The number of studies were rolled out, and two from a particular research group made it into the Lancet and the New England Journal of Medicine, both highly prestigious journals, and were within a very short amount of time, a week or a few days actually, were retracted because letters were written from other research communities raising questions about this study, about the data. The particular institution that collected the data and had the data was not able to share or not willing to share the data in full transparency. And some of the co-authors on these papers said, you know what, I'm not even sure that the paper I put my name on is legitimate, that all aspects, that I can vouch for all aspects of the data. So they withdrew and said, you know what, I don't want my name on this paper anymore. I'm stepping off. And that really led to the editorial decisions by the Lancet and the New England Journal of Medicine to formally retract these papers. That kind of situation, and I'm sure it's not the last that we will see around COVID-19 publications specifically, that kind of situation really raises deep questions about the adequacy of our editorial and peer review system, as well as the responsibilities of researchers to make sure that when they put their name on a paper, they do so with full knowledge that the data and the analysis and the study as a whole has the kind of integrity that it needs to have. Researchers bear that responsibility too.